Hello everyone. Hope you guys are doing well, and well, I guess Happy New Year. It's a bit late, but it is what it is. So today I bring you my Spriggan Shaman. It's something I've been working on ever since the patch last season. I went through a number of iterations. Initially, I was using Last Bear along with Halvar. I was in triple set at some point. I tried cold. I did a whole bunch of things. But this is the one I settled on, at least for now. The idea was to use Halvar set along with the idols to be able to proc Avalanche Boulders through Spriggan Form. The Spirit Thorns in Spriggan Form. As you can see here, we're just throwing out Spirit Thorns and, well, boulders are falling. So we're just a funny little stone boulder throwing tree. But yeah, that's essentially the idea of the build. I always struggled a little bit in trying to find damage, but now with the Primordial Exalts, I went to like a T7, tier 8 physical damage on the staff, and I completely ditched what was my initial idea, which was using Legends Entwine along with Last Bear and along with Last Bear. It wasn't really worth like getting the little bit of extra strength for armor and a little bit of extra endurance. Well, nice, I did it. Yeah, it made it tankier, but the damage is not there. It worked okay at low corruption, but then it didn't have damage for Abbey or anything. While this build, as you can see, is currently clearing a 960, 957, whatever it is, 950 corruption echo, and has killed Abbey. Also killed Orobis at 900 something corruption. It is a bit weak when it comes to bossing. Like the 950 Eurot was just mopping the floor with me. Like I couldn't dodge all of the ice orb, and the ice orb would just 2-3 shot me fairly easily. But it is what it is. To be fair, it's also only level 86, and the gear is not particularly amazing, as we can see further on into the video. Simply put, we have not even 3000 KHP, while on the final build it would have between 4 and 4.5 KHP. If I could get everything rolled properly, but it would be more around 4 KHP, that's the point. So it would make a pretty big difference. Anywho, moving on with the build. Okay, so when it comes to skill, I'm gonna go by the order which I went while we were leveling. I started with Gathering Storm. Here you have a few options that you can go for. If you want to start as a caster from the get-go, I would recommend you go straight down here to grab Lagoon in Diplomacy, because then you'll be able to directly cast Stormbolt instead of having to melee stuff. So you can go straight caster, and then go into Maelstrom afterwards, and then Spriggan Form. Here, the Thorn Totem, I will say you can pick Spriggan. Go summon Spriggan before, and then later on, when you get to crit cap without the Spriggan, then you switch to Thorn Totem. Or when you start pushing into high corruption. I was using the Spriggan for most of the time of my playthrough. I just swapped to Totem because when I got to high corruption, the Spriggan was just always licking the floor. And I would rather get like 3 more totems out and have some utilities for more armor shred and stuff like that, than just having to deal with the dead Spriggan all the time that was doing nothing. Essentially. And then at level 50 you'll spec into Avalanche. The reason you do only Avalanche at level 50 is because you'll want to start going towards the Druid. You get here Bush Stalker, get some sort of sustain later on. But more importantly, because you want to unlock Spriggan Form first, and then you also want to get initially Rancor. Later on you spec out of it, because we don't need it anymore, but at the start this is fairly useful while leveling, just to keep up your rage so you don't have to always be getting kicked out of Spriggan Form. It depends, you can use like, I can't remember the name of the amulet, but there is an amulet that will give you rage per second per vine, so you can use that instead of going and pathing towards Rancor and start early going into the Shaman tree to unlock Avalanche. But if not, you can just leave Avalanche for later. Avalanche is not gonna be, unless you have the Halvar set along with the idols, you're not gonna be proccing Boulders anyway. So you can just run with these 4 skills and not worry. Spriggan Form is gonna be more than enough for most of your needs until you go further into Monolith. Anywho, with that introduction out of the way, so we're going physical, so the first thing we do, we want to go for the physical conversion on Gathering Storm. And if you're leveling with it directly, I would recommend you just keep on, you can just keep it lightning, no point in going straight into physical. You can just leave that conversion for later since it's fairly easy to get to, just 2 points. Then I pathed it here. Actually, forgot to remove this. When we are crit capped, so we no longer need this. While leveling, this is useful to guarantee some crits for your Stormbolts, so you can more easily proc Avalanche. Other than that, then you can just shift that here for damage. Fairly straightforward. You shift it there. The reason why I don't get more damage out of Stormbolt, I don't get this, is because I prefer having the extra target area, the extra range on Gathering Storm, so we don't need to be as close for the Stormbolts to actually hit. Here, straightforward, lightning penetration and damage per mana consumption. We're gonna be hitting, we have rage, so it's just 3 damage. Like, we never run out of rage. Like, even if we just sit here, odds are our rage is gonna regen. Might be some issues because of my relic, but that's, well, it was the relic I had, it is what it is. You can also opt to not go this way and just route through here. I didn't go early on into range Stormbolt. I should have, but I didn't, so that's why I don't have the point there, and I routed the other way around. But yeah, you could just go straight here and not put a point here. You either put a point here or there to get to the target area. If you don't care much about the range, you can just go for more damage. Just remove all these points, these 3 points and that one, and just max that out. Okay, second skill, we go Maelstrom. I went straight physical as well while leveling, so I prioritized getting the Cyclone to get more global physical damage. You can just ignore that and go straight up here for the Frenzy, and then max out the duration, and then eventually get to Power of the Storm and Cyclone. And then I went for the increased stun chance because we are hitting with Avalanche. Avalanche hits pretty hard. It's fairly easy to get stuns off with Avalanche. And then at the end, just add some duration or some area. Or if you prefer getting more targets with Power of the Storm, completely up to you. The important is getting the Frenzy and Haste, and getting the Cyclone for the physical damage. That's what the most important things. And then the duration, because to make it easier to stack the Maelstroms and get more damage out. That's what's important. Anywho, moving on to Spriggan Form. So, when I went through the leveling process, prioritize getting this so you can regenerate a rage and maintain upkeep Spriggan Form. After that, I went for the Spirit Horns, Pierce, and Penetration. And it left 1 point there. We went for the Penetration and Pierce, because, well, Pierce is pretty straightforward. They will hit more targets. Pretty easy, pretty good for while leveling for more AoE. After that, I went for the Maelstrom casts. And only then did I start going for the damage and the Spirit Veils. The Veil Spirits. After getting those, then I started pathing towards the totems. Slowly summon 3 totems, which is very, very useful. Because we kind of rely on the totems for our elemental reses. It's fairly useful to get that. And then eventually after you get those totems, you go here. Whatever leftover points you get, you can, it's up to you. If you want to go Entangling Roots, you can. You can put a point here and have it consume your Veiled Spirits for you to cast Entangling Roots on occasion. I just opted to go and get more armor. Then Storm Totem. I'm gonna go back and go into Spriggan. So, Spriggan, while leveling, what we want is this, to get the base crit chance from Spriggan. And then you can also, the spell damage is also nice to have. But mostly the crit. Then, so you path down here to get the crit, and then you can opt to have it summon vines as well. Other than that, the most important thing you can get is these, just to help keep him alive. Armor and Fizz res, and just straight up more HP. Pretty straightforward. For totems, what you want the most is the maximum totems, so you can get 6 totems out, which means you have 10% times 6. So it's not 60%. I don't know what the odds are for you to get an actual spirit Thorn out from the totems, but 6 totems, 10% more chances. Fairly straightforward. Other than that, up to you if you want the mana efficiency. If you like, you need the mana efficiency, so it doesn't cost as much. You can go for the pierce and whatnot if you want. For me, like, I don't have any minion damage. Sure, I have a bit of attunement. I just shrugged completely and went straight here to get the armor shred, extra cast speed for the totems, and more importantly, extra summon speed for me, because I'm not too invested into cast speed. That makes our totem summoning much faster. And then here for the homing, so they hit more targets and hit more times the same target and get more armor shred. I actually don't know if it hits, they all hit the same target. Okay, then never mind. But it means they will hit more things. So I figured, why not? Not like we have the other, if it wasn't here, it would either probably go like here for more HP and physical res. Again, this is all up to you, what you prefer. What's important is the 3 extra totems. And then Avalanche. Avalanche, pretty straightforward. You go for the physical conversion. While leveling, you can get this to max to guarantee crits. Right. I just realized I messed up. I forgot. That's why I had this maxed out. The 8 sweep, I literally just changed it because I thought I was doing a mistake, and now I realize, yeah, want this because of small boulder chance on crit. So when a larger boulder crits, it essentially guarantees that there is another small boulder. So you can opt for that, or you can just remove the points from there and get more area or more damage here. You have options. The extra area feels really nice, so do take that into consideration. I'll leave this one up to you, how you prefer and how you feel. This will give you one more boulder every time a large boulder crits, and other than that you can get more impact area for your boulders, which makes the boulders pretty big, as you can see. And yeah, that's it for skills. Sorry, that was a bit long. Alright, now on to passives. Primalist is fairly straightforward. You go for the attunement, you go for the increased spell damage, you go for the health, and you shove the last point into strength. For me, that's the best. You can get physical damage earlier on, since you're gonna have a minion and whatnot, so it's gonna be 4% physical damage instead of 4% increased armor. It's all very the same. You can also go and grab... No, you can't do that. Yeah, you have to get that to here. Oh, right, corner beast. Yeah, I forgot. We probably don't want to get this, because I'm pretty sure the final few points are get shoved here. But you should probably get corner beast because of the damage reduction. Nothing else. We don't really care for the more melee damage. Just getting 20% reduction when you drop to low life on top of the endurance is pretty. Anywho, moving on. Here you prioritize getting Spriggan Form, and then for me personally, I go Chitinous Plating, I go Druidic Prowess, I put 3 points here, put the other 2 points there for the extra armor early on. Then we max this out and get 1 point to Rancor. This is the note for later in... You'll want it, but you'll want it later when you have a decent amount of crit chance. So it's not a priority. While leveling, the priority is getting Rancor, so you don't get kicked out as easily out of Spriggan Form. At least not while running from one point to the other. However, if you are like me and are always spamming Divines for movement, and if you have Silverfront, and evading, because evade will put you into combat, so it will make Rancor kinda pointless. You might be better off just maxing this out for reduced rage decay early on. Just giving you that possibility. The 3 points here are a must-have for me. 10% movement speed is great, so at least 3 points there. Okay, then we go into the Shaman tree, because we want to unlock Avalanche. We start putting some points here for attunement penetration, or damage, straightforward. Then we put a point in here, we go 4 here, 1 here. After that we unlock this and we get 5 points there. Because then early on we don't have to worry about cast speed, we can just use our totems. You just drop down some totem, and you'll effectively have 25% increased attack cast speed. Which is pretty great. Afterwards, I went here for the extra stun of violence per attunement. If you don't feel like you need it, or you don't care too much, I was playing hardcore, so take that into consideration. You can just ignore this and go straight and put everything here for spell damage. So it's the same reason why I go here instead of putting more points here. I go for the chill chance. It's not even for the shock, it's just for the shield chance, which is another slow, always good to have. And eventually you're gonna reach here. I just maxed it out for the endurance and the stun chance, which again, Avalanche stuns pretty frequently. As soon as you unlock this, you shove every point into it, because it's 2 spell damage per point. Pretty good. Because sure, Spirit Thorns only has a scaling of 60%, but every time you cast, there's at least 4 Spirit Thorns going off. So those 60% are not exactly 60%, because it's 60% times 4. So, anywho, then I put a point here just so we're able to unlock that. Here I max this out. You might not need to max it. I prefer just 40% chance every second. Sounds good to me. Odds are you're gonna be proccing a Stormbolt every second, hopefully. And here, then we'll want 4 points. We don't really care for the on-hit effect, because it has 3-second cooldown, so too much, and we don't want to be getting hit that many times. But the extra endurance threshold per Maelstrom is nice to have. Then 5 points here to max out to give us a chance of double cast Stormbolts. However, one thing though, this is why I'm not there yet, because after I got Avalanche, I actually shifted into Beastmaster to get your Sign Strength and Aspect of the Boar. Not only Aspect of gives you endurance, then you have Aspect of the Boar, which reduces all damage taken. Pretty good. So I just go for defenses. And again, when I realized I completely forgot, because I'm doing a spellcaster, so I didn't think about it. Cornered Beast would probably be a good call to get at the same time. Because while this is nice, you're not really getting that much damage out of it. Sure, the spell damage, sure, especially for Avalanche, but this, it's just more, these are just more nice to have other than anything else. And again, with Conflux, same thing. Nice to have. And then you probably won't have enough points to get more spell damage with Active Totem. I mean, we're 87, right? So this will give us 88. 88, we'll have 4 points there. 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93. Then we have 5 more points in Corner Beast, so you'll have 2 points left. Then you can do with them whatever you want. You can shove them here for 2% more spell damage. You can shove them here for more flat spell damage. You can shove them here for a bit more HP. As per usual, as I've said before, up to you. That's something that it will depend on your tastes and how you prefer to play. Okay, so now on to gear. So I'm gonna show you just the gear I have currently, how we did the 900 something corruption, and how we did Abbey. We have these Grasp of the Blood Mage. I just went and stole these from another character. We don't really need the physical res, as you can see. That 40 res is nice to have, because it saves us from bothering with other things. But what we want is a tier 1, a 1 LP, tier 7 cast speed is more than enough. Anything else, you'd probably, on the final planner I have HP here, not even Phys res. The Phantom Grips, you want a D7 crit chance, just to guarantee that you get to crit cap. Here ideally you'd want the same. I had this lying about, I didn't have one for the crit, and we're at 99 crit, spell crit, so I just shrugged, and we'll just run this Silver Front, especially because our HP is so sad. Legacy of Quiet first, D7 hybrid health, and then you want the cleanse as well. Don't have, but cleanse is always good, especially the high corruption where dots are gonna hit like a freaking tuck. It's nice being able to cleanse them. Palox, D7 max HP. For me, it's the most important thing, and then if you can get crit multiplier on it, would also be good. So here I went for the Raptor Helm because it helps me crit cap. You can crit cap through other ways and go with, say, a Scurry of the Herald of the Scurry for the 40% increased health and a little bit of extra leech, or you can just run something like this. I'm getting the endurance from there to cap out my endurance. If you can get that somewhere else, I think on the flank panel I have it on the ring, you can just shove like crit damage reduction or more HP in this. Same thing when I go with the vitality. The only thing we could get here would be attunement, which is a bit more increased damage, or spell damage while transform, which would be a little bit more damage. Doesn't really matter that much when we have 800 increased physical, right? And then an Oracle Amulet for the damage the dot reduction. And then we'll look for T7 crit multi and T5 spell crit. If I had T5 spell crit, this would be more than crit capped. Fortunately, this is what we got so far, and I'm just not gonna bother going all the way with it. You can also get T7 spell crit, which will then allow you to, for example, not run crit here, probably, or have less worries capping out your crit. So don't take this as set in stone. I'll have two examples of the planner, for example, panel planner, because of that. One with Herald of Scurry and another with an Exalted Raptor Helm. Okay, and then we have our Silver Front. Silver Front is very important because it gives you movement. You can, if you don't care about having a movement skill while in Spriggan Form, you can forgo it and run another Phantom Grip or whatever else you want. For me, I will just not trade it for anything, really. And then there's the Halvar set, fully reforged. Halvar Stand Citadel Boots gives us our crit reduction. We don't need anything else other than this piece to cap out our crit. Currently, this one is also sporting Phys Res, so adjusting. Ideally, you'd want probably hybrid health. And then I went with Vitality instead of Attunement because I don't think we need like the little bit of increased damage. I feel like the extra Vitality, the extra health and resists, Necrotic and Poison are more useful. Here, last Heap of the Mountain. Ideally, you want a T7 Spriggan Form, just because then you can get a bit more armor, for example, or a bit more utility out of your Spriggan Form. You can opt to trade that, keep T5, and then run T7 spell crit chance or crit multi. Up to you. As for me, on the final planner, I think I have this. I don't have with the Raptor Helm. You don't need this spell crit. You can just run spell crit multi, and it's between, like, if you run T5 crit multi, it's 25%. If you run T7, it's 50%. Also not a particularly amazing gain, but a gain nonetheless. And ideally you'd want like a living seed, if I remember right, the one that has leech on hit, just to augment your leech, because you get 4% from the crit, you get 1% from the gloves, and then you'd get 2.4% out of the relic. Also another reason why I tried running the scurry, because then I would have another 2% leech from the scurry implicit, the boar helm. You can also do that with an exalted helm, but it becomes a bit more annoying to then cap out your crit. Raptor helm helps a lot. And then Halvar set, and this is our primordial exalt. I ran increased physical damage. I think it's a bigger damage gain running a T8 increased damage than running T8 crit multi. But I haven't properly tested it out. But if my math is not wrong, I think it's gonna T8 increased physical damage is always gonna be better than T8 crit multi. I think. At least that's according to my math. It look like that. Other than that, you want fist penetration on it as a suffix. You can get slow or stun chance. Both are good options. I like getting the slow because then we can have the shield chance along with slow, making things easy to deal with. Or you can just go for the stun chance and have Avalanche stunning even more often. Then you need T5 crit spell crit to get to 100% crit chance. And instead of the spell damage there, you'd want T5 crit multiplier. Because having a T5 crit multiplier is a pretty big damage gain. If not, you can just swap out the physical damage and go with T8 crit multi if you have it. The difference shouldn't be that big. I do still think increased physical damage is going to be better overall for damage. Or increased spell damage even. But you can probably get away with using T7 crit multi. T8 crit multi. Probably going to be more or less the same. And then the base would probably want the gate staff. You can also use a bladed staff to get one more point on Gathering Storm. It's not much, but hey, every little bit count, right? But gate staff will give you the most spell damage. And I guess that's it for gear. Let's go over the idols. These are the most important ones. Cast on Avalanche, Boulder on Spellcast. I'm running 2 of them, and ideally you'd want both of them with increased Aspect of the Boar effect. I'm not sure if they stack or not. I'm pretty sure. It just felt like this would make the most sense. It guarantees that you're proccing probably to the limit of the idols, the 3 times per second. With this high a chance of Avalanche and the totems. And then you can also get again the extra increased effect on effect of the boar, so that's a bit more damage reduction. All good. Then I run 2 stouts for critical strike chance. This is something you might opt to run extra penetration idols if you can afford it. If you can crap out your crit, you might end up getting more damage out of physical penetration idols than these crit idols. They also help shore up any resist you want. Like I said, the resist you don't care too much, because when we plop out a totem, we almost get capped. Because I was messing around with stuff and I don't have the perfect blessing. Oh, I'm actually even running this. Ah, that's what I did. I removed the Alvarez blessing and plopped in this. It is because of the fact that our resists are kinda overcapped, like void and physical. But anywho, dual crit. You also want crit multi here, and if you can get flat spell damage, or vice versa, or gets flat spell damage and then get crit multi. Again, we go back to, are you crit capped? Yes, no, then you should prioritize on crit capping first. And then if you are crit capped and you can lose some crit chance, then just drop the enchant and get more spell damage. You're probably going to get more damage out of that. And here, physical penetration and resist, physical penetration and resist, physical penetration and critical strike chance, or these are like picks up your resists and get more physical penetration, essentially. And that's it for idols. As for blessings, crit multiplier on Raya, fairly obvious. Stun chance on Lagon, great. It goes up to 200, so try to grab that. Here, shred physical. Even a 20% chance to shred is more than enough for our needs because of all the hits we're doing with the Spriggan, with Thorns. Here I went for the armor. If you feel like you don't want the armor, you want the endurance, so you don't have to worry about capping it out through passives or item affixes, you have that option. And here, if you need to resist, run Grand Resolve of Humanity. If you don't, you can just replace it for the increased physical damage. Not gonna be much, but it's still a damage gain. And I think we got everything. Okay, now for a quick short overview on leveling, what you can do, and then it depends on, because you don't need to go physical, lightning, or cold. If you're gonna go with the elemental, I would recommend cold because then it pairs up well with Maelstrom. But again, it's up to you how you go about it. You don't really need any sort of gear to level it. When I leveled this one, I didn't have any sort of gear. This is just gear I was using, or at some point, or gear I thought about using. And as you can see, it's nothing particularly amazing, especially this set. But if you want, or if you have it, you can run a full Halvar set early on from the get-go. Pretty good. 40 flat spell damage, which helps a lot. And you also get the shred on spell hit. You also get the Avalanche Boulders, which are pretty good, especially early game. Although that requires you to have a bit more crit. But even if with the this regular crit chance, it's still working. It still works fine. Other than that, this is something I really recommend you get if you're not running Halvar. This is pretty good. It's probably one of the best items you can get. You get it from a rift in the Rustlands. You go there, you will go into Verdant Lakes, Ancient Era, and then at the end you have a plant boss that will always drop this. And so it's a guaranteed drop. It's something I recommend. Same thing with Avarice early on. If you're going with if you're keeping like Lightning, Gathering Storm, then you can just run Avarice, because then you'll have Leech. This is when you do the physical switch. Orchidion's becomes really, really good to have, because it gives you cast speed, it gives you spell damage, it gives increased damage, and it gives you stun chance and crit. It just, everything is good about this item. But yeah, nothing really important. Just stack increased spell damage or increased physical damage, or increase whatever element you're running Gathering Storm. I would say if you're gonna go Elemental Gathering Storm, go cold, and then grab at least 2-piece Invoker as well, Reforged Invoker, because then you get 13% increased cast speed for free. You can get 3-piece. I just don't recommend it, because then later on you'll want to get Silver Frond to get your movement skill on while in Spriggan Form. And yeah, I think that essentially covers everything. Yeah, you can also run Legends Entwined at some point if you want, and run Last Bear set along with Halvar. And if you're going cold, you can even run it with Invoker, 2-piece Invoker, then you're gonna have 3 pieces of all of them. Actually, I can do something better. As I was saying, here, this is what I was running previously. I still haven't deleted this character, because this is the cold variation, where I went for cold damage with Frostbite and everything, and I was running Legend of the Well, at this point I wasn't running because this was the initial one. At this point, if I still was running it, I would be running Legends Entwined here, and this would be replaced by a Paleox. And then I might replace the relic for something else. Maybe Shinui's could be an option. Or even replacing the staff with something else, because we no longer need the 3 pieces with Legends Entwined. But just to give you that idea that you can run cold based, you can do cold based, and run invokers. That was my point. And well, I guess that's it. Yes, we covered everything. I don't think I'm missing anything else. Yeah, we hopped back into this guy. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how everything ends up being. I don't know why this is not showing the cold variation. Anyhow, details. It should be a cold Spriggan. I don't know why it's not showing cold Spriggan. But anywho, thank you very much for watching. Remember, I will be live on Twitch most days around 8-9 a.m. GMT 0. 8-9 a.m. around 9 a.m. GMT 0. I'm generally online, and I tend to stream for like 4 to 6 hours at least. So feel free to drop by my Twitch or anything if you ever want to just chat about anything or about any of the builds or just chatting about the game. I'm always up for that. So, I'll see you guys next one. Bye-bye. Afterwards, you're gonna have the Abbey kill with the build.
The altar of oblivion.
So you finally returned to me, and with a guest. But first, prove yourselves worthy.
Aberroth! Face us yourself!
Just entertain my dear sister for a moment.
Traveler, don't worry about me.
Such wasted potential. Orbis would have welcomed you. You fight for nothing. The void comes! Weak and worthless! You fight for nothing! See the beauty we were denied. Terra turned her back on us. The void hungers. Weak and worthless. Gods tore our world apart. They deserve their fates. Embrace oblivion. void comes. Hope will not save you. You fight for nothing. The void hungers. The void comes. What? No! Arubis! Help me!
Aberroth. No. Ateros. You can rest now.